In today's video, I'm going to take you through the 5 big mistakes I made as a beginner runner. And if you stay to the end, my coach, who also happens to be the 3rd fastest marathon runner in the UK this year, is going to give you a couple of tips. But of course, before we get into it, let's go for a run. I feel delicate today. If anyone hasn't seen it, go watch the parkrun video. I obliterated my PB and this is the first time I'm back running. So yeah, feeling all the aches and pains, but fingers crossed, nothing really bad, because last time I ran a parkrun, which was my kind of first proper race effort since I've been training properly, I got injured afterwards. So let's see how this run goes. 15 minutes in, still feeling good. Still feeling a bit delicate, but no aches, no bad pains, so all looking good. 2 miles in, and I'm starting to feel good, which is nice. I was just so worried that I was going to get myself injured again. Loving it. So this list I've built chronologically from when I started running all the way up until the mistakes that I'm still making now. As you listen to all these mistakes, make sure to put in the comments if you've also made these mistakes. No shame, we've all been there, and let me know what you did to rectify them. So, number 1, running shoes. So I won't spend too much time on this one because I've done a whole video on the reasons why I looked for a new running shoe. I'll pop it up here. But way back when Philly put me in for a 10K without me knowing, way back in 2019, I started training in Adidas NMDs. They are not running shoes, and I got horrific shin splints. So whatever you do, make sure to look after your feet by getting running specific trainers. And an even better thing to do is go to a local run shop, go to a place where you can get some gait analysis done so they can see exactly what your foot strike is, so that you can be informed on what the best shoes for your feet are. And a side note here, you might get it wrong. I started with the Hokas, which were great, and then I moved to some New Balances, which I thought very similar. It's the kind of neutral shoe from New Balance, the 1080s, and they didn't work for me. They gave me some really nasty pains here and there. And then I ultimately went with the Brooks, and these have been fantastic. So be aware that you might need to try a couple of different shoes over a long period of time to really find what works for you. Now, it's Tuesday, so it's not normally a day I'll go and do a session, but I'm gonna go do my session today. I've spoken to coach, we've moved things around a little bit because Philly needs the car tomorrow morning to go to training, but then I have physio in the afternoon, so can't be running in the afternoon. And I don't particularly wanna be running after physio, so she just suggested, why don't I do it today, get it over and done with, and then have 2 days off, and then run on Friday. Let's go. We have quite a fun session today. So it's 2 sets of 5 by 400. Now, why that's interesting is that I've never done anything that's distance-based. It's just been time-based. So this is just gonna be fun to see. And those are meant to be run at 5K or sub 5K pace. All with a 100-meter jog in the middle. And yeah, let's give it a go. Oh, it started to rain. Brilliant. All right, warm up done in 2.23K. All those kilometer people out there, this session will be done in Ks. Average of 6:45. Don't know what that means, but we'll take it. Take a moment, and then we'll start. We're starting at 4:45 pace. Or a little bit slower. Like I can work into it, it's not that bad. All right, let me do some ankle things, and then we'll get going. Third rep, not feeling too bad. It hurts, but in a good place. I'm not like reaching, so it's good. All right, first set of 5 done. Feel good. Feel like I can lock into a rhythm, which is nice. Gonna try push a little bit for the last 5. Try go sub 5K pace, but been locking into a nice rhythm, so I'm happy to stay there as well. Another 80. feels heavy now. Probably got still a bit of that 5k in the legs, but I'm hitting a little bit faster. It's definitely much harder, so yeah. All right, last rep, let's get this going. That was a good one, it's a fun one. I'm very used to doing lots of varied paces, fartleks. It's definitely nice to mix it up a bit, and it felt like because each rep was trying to hit very similar paces, I could kind of lock in and kind of gauge what pace I was going at without relying too much on the watch. And yeah, it was a good push at the end as well. So all in all, good session. So, we, mostly Philly, have been adding some things to her office because we've got some big merch news coming soon, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later in the video. But we have added...
I'm so strong, I've been just shifting this stuff, you know.
Shut up. So we've added these racks to the room, some of which are going to be used for Philly's stuff.
Nice.
And then these two will be used for merchandise. We've got new merch coming. Happy Wednesday. This room is looking pretty good. These drawers won't be here. Philly's ordered some nice boxes for her kit. We have got merch coming. Now, I don't want to promise dates and times because it's going a little bit slower than we hoped. We're hoping to get stuff out in November for you guys, but we have some tech t-shirts, some tech vests, and then a new lifestyle design. But that means, because we're running out of our house, that means all the old designs are gonna be gone. We're completely redoing the business. We're ordering it all in bulk, which allows us to dictate the quality. It allows us to have more flexibility with the designs to make better designs for the future. And yeah, we hope that that will allow us to create a better experience for all of you guys. So watch this space. It's coming soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're trying really hard to get it out to you guys before the end of the year. And because we're buying it in bulk, there is only going to be very limited stock of these first few designs. Watch this space. But while we're here, what is the next mistake that I made as a beginner runner? I didn't have a plan. Now, this goes all the way back again to when Philly set me up for this 10K, and at that point she was not a coach and we were very early in our relationship, so her kind of setting my training was probably a little bit odd. So I did the very beginner thing of just running, just trying to kind of go longer and faster every single time, which is not the way that you should train. And then we get to when I think the real start of my running life, which was back in Reading. I wanted to get a bit fit, wanted to lose a little bit of weight, so I started running, and I did the same thing. Although I had a bit of advice from Philly and she gave me a few sessions here and there, I didn't know what paces I should be running at. I didn't know what I was aiming for. I didn't understand how to train right, the idea of the long run, the session, the easy recovery run. I had no idea about any of that. And I believe that's one of the biggest reasons why I got myself injured. I was doing too much, too soon. I wasn't building up fitness. I was just trying to go faster and longer every single time. I appreciate that not everyone has the luxury of having a professional runner in their household who happens to also be a coach. And that was just such an easy transition for me to be like, Philly, can you just coach me and see what we can do? But there are so many different options out there, which range from being absolutely free to obviously costing some money and quite a lot of money. So what I would suggest is that if you're a complete beginner, just type into Google couch to 5K, couch to 10K, beginner half marathon training plan. There's gonna be free stuff out there, but with a little investment, and I mean little, like half the cost of actually entering a marathon or entering a race, you can find someone who maybe does off-the-shelf plans for different distances and for different difficulties. And I'll let you into a little secret here. We are currently in the process of making some of these off-the-shelf plans where you pay a small one-off fee and you get a really in-depth, detailed training plan to help you get your PB for your next race. Probably going to start with half marathon and marathon plans, but it is in the works to do 5K, 10K, get some SNC sessions in there as well. So stay tuned for that. Another free option that I completely forgot about is join a club. Philly's early career, she was at Bracknell and then Aldershot, and that, apart from your membership, which I think costs a very small amount per year, that's it, it's free. You can go do sessions, you can learn from the coaches there, and for a beginner runner, I think that's probably one of the perfect things that you can do. Now, if you want something slightly more tailored, Philly offers a one-to-one coaching plan, and there are lots of people out there who offer this type of service, a range of different costs. Obviously, that comes at a larger cost, and it tends to be a monthly cost. But if that is something that you are interested in, that could be a great option. But the underlying learning here is that find a plan, no matter how specific it is. Find a Couch to 5K or find a coach, go and join a club. That's mistake number 2. I'm gonna go to physio, and that links in very well with mistake number 3. All right, let's be real. The day got away with me. I completely forgot to film and then got home, been inundated with emails and work that I've had to be doing. Let's get on to mistake number 3. Mistake number 3 is not doing my SNC work, or at least at the beginning, not doing any SNC work. I know that strength and conditioning is one of those things that we really don't want to do. It seems in the moment like it's doing nothing, but I can attest from having an injury, a little niggle, something that stopped me from running for months, going to a physio and getting a couple of exercises, consistently doing those exercises over weeks and months have kept me injury, niggle free. And if that isn't enough, let me go ask a professional. Oh, professional, got a question. How important is S&C?
How important are your legs?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to run without them.
Yeah.
Are you comparing that to S&C? Well, she's a woman of very few words. There's some very powerful words.
It's a bit like when you get your tyres changed on a car, or you have its MOT done, because when the engine is a bit not working, or the tyres are a bit about to explode, it's probably not ideal for doing a long haul trip. Kind of the same thing.
Nice, I like that. Do your S&C.
And try and find a way to love it as well, because I think that's a lot of people's problem, is that they hate it. So try and find a way to trick yourself into at least not hating it. Like put on Parks and Rec when you do it, or do it with a friend. Or say that once you've done it, you can do something you like doing.
And if you have no idea where to start, Philly has a really good video on a really short, easy S&C routine. So go check that out. I'll put it up there. Where are you taking me?
It's a mystery.
Where have you brought me?
Hamilton!
She did good. So yesterday was such a fun day. Philly surprised me with Hamilton tickets. We went down to London, and now I'm about to go for run number 3 of the week. We've got 40 minutes easy with a couple of strides on the end. And when I get back, we'll get on to mistake number 4. Just had to walk for a second. My heart rate just skyrocketed, and I thought, well, might as well just walk it off. There's no point. Keep running at this heart rate. Go back to a normal level and back to it. And that brings me really nicely onto mistake number 4, running too fast. Now, I'm no elite runner by any stretch of the imagination, but Philly bangs on about the 80-20 rule. And for an elite runner, that's so important. For people like me, as a beginner, it's hard to constrain yourself to 80-20 because, let's face it, I'm nowhere near as fit as Philly. So my easy run, my heart rate might push up into those areas that they're not meant to be, purely because I'm not used to it. But if you have a plan or some sort of structure, or even if you don't, you need to make sure that your easy days are easy and your hard days are hard. Forget the 80-20 rule for now. If you're doing a session, push yourself. If you're doing a progressive long run, push yourself. But on those days that it's just an easy half an hour, easy 40 minutes, run at a pace that seemingly you could run for a long time. And find out what easy is for you. I have to stop myself here telling you to go on heart rate, which is what I do at the moment to make sure that I'm keeping my pace nice and relaxed on my easy runs. Purely because everybody's easy run pace is completely different. And not only is it different person to person, it's different for that person day to day. Your easy run pace on one day might be completely different on another day, depending on what you've done the day before, the fueling you've got in, your hydration, mood, lots of factors. For me, the easiest way to generally find what my easy pace is to sink into a pace where I feel like I could run for a lot longer than the easy run actually is. So if it's 40 minutes, I go at a pace that I think I could probably run 80 minutes in. And sometimes it's quite hard to take. A couple of videos ago, I figured out that I was running too fast, even now, even after running properly for, 2 or 3 months now. And did it hit my ego a little bit, knowing that I wasn't gonna be running the distances that I had been? Yeah, it did a little bit. But you get over that. It will mean that my fitness will build quicker, more sustainably. I'm less likely to get injured, and therefore I will be able to run faster and further later on down the line. Sacrifice now, gains later.
Happy Sunday, everyone. It's long run day. We got 70 minutes. Have forgot my watch, so I'm doing it off my phone, so not going by heart rate today. It'll be interesting if I can go by feel, see how it goes. But yeah, I'll check in. No idea how far in I am. Actually I do, because this is where I stop for my cool down when I do my session, so that's just under 1.5 miles, I think. So I must be going for about 15 minutes, which is good. Shout out to Bodycross. He sent me this lovely jacket, sent me some other things as well, but it's keeping me nice and dry in the wet. I'll put that link in the description if you want to go check it out. They're doing some really cool things. I wasn't paid to say that. But if you're a brand who wants to send me some clothing, please do. All right, just turn around, 35 minutes, now we go all the way back. Feeling good though. There is something about not having a watch on. And yes, my heart rate's probably higher than it should be. Been able to lock into a rhythm again, which is really nice. It just feels good. Disaster. I just stopped for a little loo break and thought, I'll just look at, I need to pause my phone. And it had paused at the halfway point, and I've been running for at least 15 to 20 minutes after the halfway point. Yeah, that's always good fun, but never mind. It is what it is. I'm pretty much gonna run 6 point something miles, so I'll just pop that into Strava just so we can have the mileage counter on there, but yeah, no big deal. It's still miles in the bag. It's not like I care that much about the stats. It's a long run, and that's all it needs to be. The heavens have opened on the last 10 minutes of the run. I'm glad it's only the last 10 minutes, but still, I'm getting a bit wet.
Well, that was a grim end to the run. Let's get dried up, and I'll take you through the last mistake that I made.
The last mistake I made was giving up. Back when Philly put me in for that 10K, I trained for the 10K, I did the 10K, and I stopped. And then when I came back to it, I was like, why am I so unfit? Why am I getting all these niggles? Because I stopped. I didn't stick at it. My body didn't have time to get used to the stress I was putting it under. So my last bit of advice for this video is if you're a beginner runner and you're a couple of weeks in or even a month in and it still hurts, you're still run walking or you're going out for runs and it just doesn't feel enjoyable, I promise you, you stick at it, you keep at it, keep going for it for 2-3 months. It might take that long to get used to it, but you will. I hated it for so long. And Philly said to me right at the beginning, 4 to 6 weeks, it took me nearly 2.5 months to really be able to go out for a 30-minute run and go, cool, I can just run for 30 minutes and it doesn't bother me that much. Just stick at it. Now, let's go see Philly and see if she has any tips for beginner runners.
Oh, professional!
I'm a professional packer. I'm packing and I'm being very professional about it.
Do you have
a couple of tips for beginner runners.
Beginner runners. Number one, don't compare yourself to other people that you know that have been running for longer than you, even if they've been running for less time than you. Basically, don't compare yourself to other people, because you'll find your people that run at the same pace as you, but if you compare yourself to people that are not, it's just going to get you beat down. For example, if I compared myself to Sifan Hassan today, who's just run the second fastest marathon time on the planet ever, and it's her second ever marathon. She's won both the marathons she's ever done. If I compared myself to her, I'd be like, what's the point? Like, why am I even bothering? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, because comparison is a thief of joy, and everyone's at their own place, and it's also not about being the fastest when you're just starting out. Like, just enjoy it. That's one piece of advice,
Yeah.
right? You want two.
I mean, why not?
So I think a lot of beginners make the mistake of just getting out the door and running, and just doing runs. Whether they're easy or not, or just they're kind of blitzing every single run. Try and vary your week. So, a bit like you have, you've got 2 standard easy runs,
Yep.
1 long run, which is at an easy pace, but it creeps into kind of a more of a medium intensity because it's long, and then an interval session. You can definitely do interval sessions as a beginner. Get 2 or 3 weeks of just running under your belt, perhaps you've done Couch to 5k, do intervals. Like, even if it's like 5 by a minute, like fast, off 90 seconds, your first one. Because intervals will get you faster. They'll get you more in tune to kind of different paces.
Thanks, professional. Now get back to packing, please.
Well, there you have it, guys. Those are the 5 mistakes that I made, and hopefully some pointers of how not to make those mistakes. 2 tips from a professional marathon runner. Again, if you have suffered with any of these, and you have maybe some other tips to help with these mistakes that I made, that maybe some others made, put them in the comments below. I really want to hear, and I'm sure other people want to hear, what you guys have done to rectify those mistakes. And before I go, quick note, it's Monday. This video is coming out. On Sunday, so Sunday the 15th of October, we are getting rid of, as I said earlier in the video, we are getting rid of all of the merch. So next Sunday, it's all gonna go at midnight. So what we've done is we've given 10% off site-wide. So go get any of the OG merch before it is gone. All right, I'll put the website here. But anyway, next week's a bit of a different video. So I hope you're gonna enjoy. I'm just gonna leave it there. Until next time.